Good morning, Detroit. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, and we've got an outstanding Harvey Freed, and I got an outstanding panel. Harry Glanz on the Zoom broadcast. Hey, Harry.
Good morning, Harvey. How are you this morning, buddy?
Hey, good morning, everyone out there. We got John Kolb joining us. Good morning, John Kolb.
What is up, gentlemen?
And, of course, he brings in Kyle Lang from ReMax Dream Properties out in Northville. Hey, Kyle, what's shaking? I promise not to call you Kyle Busch, the NASCAR or the stock car driver, Kyle, on this show. You'll only be called the best real estate agent that we've seen in Southeast Michigan because you are one of the best agents out there. And, you know, Kyle, it's been such a frenzy of home buying all year in 2020. We've got a couple of shows left to wrap up the year, but I wanted to sort of know what was going out there to find out how your December's shaping up. Are you starting to really move forward with a lot of families still looking to purchase maybe a house for the holidays?
Yeah. We still got, I think, another 4 or 5 closings to finish out the month. And I've probably had 4 or 5 new buyers that have reached out to me, new listings that have reached out to me in the last, week, 10 days. So, the year's finishing strong, and it's looking like 2021 is going to start off really strong as well. People still trying to take advantage of those really low interest rates.
Yeah, we see this home buying season, Harry. It just, it got off to a late start, of course, due to COVID and the pandemic. But ever since, truly, I don't even know if it's slowed down. It sounds like people are starting to go virtual housing tours starting in May. And then once they let the restrictions off, it has been nonstop. So a little salute out there. The buying frenzy is great for so many families. Harry, maybe there won't be a shutdown at all this holiday season.
Well, I don't know about that, Harvey. I don't like the numbers. I don't like the numbers where they're trending. However, is this. People have settled into a new way of buying a house. However, they're doing it with Kyle. They're viewing them online. Maybe Kyle's showing them. Maybe people are they have this pent-up demand for housing right now. People are going to do what they need to do to go ahead and purchase a home. So that's what we're seeing. So, we want everybody to be able to go out in public again. That's what we want to do. But there's a new way of buying a home. It has not slowed down the market. And as Kyle said, coupled with the low rates right now, and everybody should be locking in. We'll get into that later, Harvey. The market is going to be volatile with interest rates. Everybody should be locking in. But the home purchase activity is very strong.
How can you resist buying a home, John Kolb, with these low interest rates? It's been definitely the fuel to the fire here, record-setting low interest rates over the last few years. And we, of course, in the industry, we know that the rates have been down truly for the last at least handful of years. At anything over 5% was considered a high interest rate. Boy, back in the day, that was considered a great interest rate. These are the lowest interest rates of all time. Landlords were increasing rents. And now we're seeing more and more young people, Kyle and John, more and more millennials want to buy homes. Younger families are starting off. There's a lot of first-time home buyers out there.
With any type of borrower, whether it's a millennial who only wants to text, old school who wants to come in and sit down and hand you their docs and talk about the situation. The good thing is we are seasoned professionals and we can do it across the whole gamut. So, it's a great time to be able to do something, whether you're going into your next home or downsizing. And rates are so good right now that why wouldn't you do it? And we had a conversation
we had a conversation with somebody last night about how I don't think the market will have a crash like it did in 2008, 2010, because the crash in 2008 and 2010 was due to things that were not put in place that we have now. And that being said, the values will go down a little bit, but they're not going to crash like they did before, in my opinion.
Yeah, we don't see any of that nastiness happening. I mean, it was just crazy. And when times were bad, and people don't even know from that, times were bad in 2007. Families were walking away from their homes. And the families that hung in there were able to do modifications of their transactions. They called it the Obama plan, the HARP loan, the Home Affordable Refinance Program. So there were a lot of things that kept families in those houses. And Harry, more importantly, those families that stayed, they're smelling the roses now because they stuck it out. Their homes are worth a lot more than they were if you take a look at 2008 till now. And Kyle, these prices keep going through the roof. Is it being fueled by these low interest rates or just the low inventory?
He bought his house 3 years ago in Garden City. We sold it for almost $50,000 more. And if anyone knows my brother, you know he doesn't do anything to his house, so he didn't do any updates at all. $50K more in equity. And the new house he bought, he was able to roll that equity into the purchase of his new place. His payment went up, guys, with how low rates are, by $300. And he moved from Garden City to Canton. His property taxes increased by about 30%. He's paying $300 more for the home that he's going to be in for most likely the next 20, 30 years.
Yes, family home. So you're saying that, just 3 years ago, he purchased in a Garden City or any area for any one of your buyers that might have bought 3 years ago. That's a huge amount of return on your investment. And even if he didn't net that kind of money, cut it in half. Even if it was, he netted $25,000, that's a huge amount of money in a short period of time. Home ownership is definitely a great way to establish some wealth out there. And the statistics always show us that homeowners seem to do a lot better financially, just in the long run. Again, it takes some discipline to be a homeowner. You definitely got to be, if you're not transit, if you think you're going to be staying here, and whether you're buying a house in Michigan, John Kolb, we had a couple transactions. We had one in Illinois this week. We got one in Ohio. So people are moving all around the country, but there's so many opportunities still here, just in Southeast Michigan. And with so many different home prices, you could get a starter home. You could go up to the next level, or get into some of these, your bigger mansions, your McMansions that are still available.
Yeah, I have a crazy story about a buddy of mine who was living in Chicago, and the shutdown with Chicago, and Chicago is worse than we are when it comes to some of the protocols that they have here in Michigan. And on top of that, with some of the riots that were going on, his kids couldn't even go outside to play. So he up and did a short-term rental out in Colorado, because he can work from anywhere. His wife can work from anywhere. They went out just outside of Aspen for 2 months. They loved it so much, they never went back to Chicago. They sold their house in Chicago, had everything packed up, and then shipped all their stuff and bought a house in Colorado. So, like you said, Harvey, we've got transactions going on all over the nation because people can work from wherever. You don't need that letter saying it's okay for the client to work from home now or work remotely, because everybody's remote. And you know what? It's a good thing because it gives people a lot of flexibility. It gets them closer to their families, allows them to enjoy different experiences when they might not have. And we're rolling, and I love it. And, let's just keep everything going the right way, be safe, and get out there and enjoy life.
Kyle, we also see that there's been a huge increase in the homes that are over $500,000-$600,000 in that price range. I don't know if you've been seeing a little bit more of some movement in that marketplace. They say that the listings are up 28% of homes over $1 million, and then also about 23% homes between $500,000 and $1 million. So there's a lot of movement even in that price range.
Yeah, I've had a couple properties lately in that 5 to 600 range, and they're moving, I would say, relatively quickly, compared to historically. So yeah, those price points are chugging along nice as well. Record-setting
low interest rates. It's a great opportunity to refinance. If you're just tuning in, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're doing our best here. We got a Zoom broadcast going on and a live audio broadcast for all our listeners out there. If you want to join the show, 248-539-9797. We always strive on education. This is more of a consumer advocate show where we're here to help you, sort of guide you through a home purchase, set you up for home success. Or if you're looking at refinancing, definitely call the local people here at Capital Mortgage Funding. And because of the holiday season, Harry, I don't know if it's seasonal or what, the scammers are back out there, Harry. The strangers, the scammers, now they're texting you. It's scary out there. We have to really warn a lot of people out there, Harry. I know that you're getting some crazy texts. I'm getting them all the time too. Give me a little heads up on what families should do really when they get that kind of stranger calling them.
Yeah, it's not unusual right now, Harvey, that during the holiday season that people are getting all kinds of crazy things emailed and text to them. But lately, alleged mortgage companies are going ahead and they're texting, emailing, and continuing the mass mail campaign. What you have to do, everybody out there, is you have to call somebody you trust. If you do business with us, make us your first call. we'll go ahead and we'll take care of it. But you have to call somebody you trust, because don't give social security numbers, income information, and dates of birth via text, email, or telephone. Okay.
All right, that's good information. We're going to give you tons of it here up until 10 o'clock. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Got a couple shows left here. 26 days left of 2020. It's been quite the year. Hope everyone's doing fine out there. And again, stay healthy. Keep those masks on. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's where you're going to get a strong approval letter. Of course, we got on the line with us today, ReMax Dream Properties, Kyle Lang. He's awesome. John Kolb, Harry Glan's on the line too. If you want to give him a call here, live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Harry, we were wrapping up a little bit of the conversation talking about the scammers out there, because your mortgage is important stuff. And we're getting some letters at home too, and they're not following the guidelines, the protocol that's been laid out by the CFPB, Harry. They're trying to scam people and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah, I just don't want to gloss over it. I just want to get into a little bit more depth, and we can move on. But everybody, it's really important, especially during holiday time. Everybody is very vulnerable. People are in giving moods. It's jovial. We want to spend a lot of time with our family. And, we're in this new COVID period where we're just trying to figure things out. But the scammers, they never take time off. What they want to do is they want to get your dates of birth, social security numbers. They want to get information about you. And they're going about it a little different way now. They're going on the internet through your mortgage recordings. They're buying lists of mortgage recordings, and then they're trying to hit you up for your information. You need to go ahead and call somebody that you trust. If you do business with us, give us a call. If you don't do business with us, we'll take a look at it for you anyways. We'll give it the yay or nay. This last week, I spent majority of my time forwarding this information to our legal counsel and the Attorney General's office of the state of Michigan. All right, we cannot let this go on. We have to protect people, and that's my public service announcement for today, Harvey.
Yeah, we like that, Harry. There's no doubt about there. Always protect yourself. Again, your home's your largest asset. And we find that lack of education is still sort of out there, prevails out there. They don't teach this stuff in school. They don't even teach it in college. So you really have to get with the experts. There's absolutely no charge to ever call us at 1-800-LOW-RATE right here locally. And we always stress, shop locally, do your mortgage locally. Also, if you're here in the Metro Detroit area, anywhere in the state of Michigan, we'll do loans anywhere in the country, but you can work with some real people that are right here. You can touch us. You can come to our office still and meet with us, whether we meet you at a coffee shop or outside, even our entranceway. We're allowing some people in just at our lobby to go ahead and sign documents, have some great conversations about getting approved and moving forward. Because Kyle, home ownership, and especially this year, I've had some, I guess it's more fun maybe when you get some first-time home buyers. Somewhere between 25 and 35% of the buyers over the summer have been first-time home buyers. So it's pretty jovial. Here, I'm going to steal a word from here. It's been very jovial and very exciting for a lot of families.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely, there's a lot of help that they need. They have a lot of questions. Usually they're pretty good questions. Sometimes they'll say, this might be a dumb question, but I want to ask. I always tell them, ask. I want you to be 100% sure you know exactly what's going on throughout the entire transaction, because like you said, they don't teach this to you in school. Some people, they have a family member or a parent who might be able to help them, but they're not, they don't do this every day. They don't fully understand how the entire process works. So that's what we're here for. We're a resource, and we need to be a service to help folks through either buying or selling of their homes.
Yeah, it's real straightforward information. Again, don't be glossed over by someone's marketing commercial on TV or the way they're presenting their product. This is a mortgage. You need to know what you're signing. There's lots of signatures involved. There's lots of responsibility in home ownership. And if you just have a good path and some education behind you, really can enjoy it and make it a lot easier for you. John Cole, we were talking about people moving all around the country. 8.9 million people relocated in 2020. That's a lot of people. And some of them have moved for different reasons: larger yards for the kids, maybe a new office space, a larger home since they're spending more time at home. So, John, you were going to comment about that, people moving all across the country.
Knowledgeable in with what you're doing, then why not do it from wherever you are. I've got stories of people running around on RVs and working from RVs in different areas. And if it works for you and you can get your job done and do it the right way so that you're benefiting your clients, great, do it, get it done.
Yeah, the new administration coming in too, so they're pretty ambiguous. really getting into the idea that they're going to create some additional opportunities here. So again, we finally got past the election. We're still deep into the pandemic, but the new administration coming in is talking about some very interesting things, maybe to help the middle or lower class families out there get their opportunities going. And maybe there's be some coming forward in 2021. You might find some additional down payment assistance programs. It's very interesting to be on the sidelines now and see what the new administration is going to put together. But there's no lack of buyers out there, Kyle. There's a lack of inventory. And that's truly what's been killing us and driving these prices up. How does the inventory, I mean, this year has been a little different. You look outside, it's dry outside today. Maybe easier to get your house listed as the weather stays a little bit drier and a little bit on the warmer side.
Yeah, well, obviously 2020 has been a year unlike any other. But we're seeing too where there's a lot of people that they wouldn't put their house on the market this time of year because maybe their kids are in the middle of a school year. Well, majority of kids are going to school online right now, so that's not really a factor. So you are seeing a little bit more people doing that in those situations, and it's making for stuff to continuously move. A lot of your people too that are maybe they're looking to upgrade from that first house when they don't have any kids and they haven't started their families yet to that second house. They want to take advantage of, one, how low rates are right now for when they're purchasing that next house, but two, the equity that they've been able to build in their current home. Because right now, like we said, the prices are still they're still increasing. I've shown a couple this week that I was so surprised that they were going for what they were asking for. But inventory, we're still really short on the inventory, and we're still looking for these houses. I had a client that I'm working with right now. She sent me probably 12 or 13 houses that she wanted to take a look at. I went through, looked them all up. All but 2 of them had already accepted offers.
Yeah, that really leads us to the conversation about pre-approvals. I'm still getting phone calls from families and, I get referred by a real estate agent, and sure enough, they already have the offer in and there's no approval letter, or they're calling me the day of they need the pre-approval letter. And it's just not a piece of paper. It is from some institutions. And a lot of times you're going to jam yourself up. You're going to you're going to really spend money. Maybe you're not prepared to buy that house. So really, just to throw that out there, pre-approval truly means that you forked over your documents, you sat and talked or done this over the telephone and put together a plan that you've already got your approval all set up so that you can close within a 30-day period. And generally speaking, most of these purchases can close in 30 days. But Kyle, all these purchases are coming in with, okay, they might want to close in 30 or 45 days only because they want the clock to start ticking. The family selling the home, they're asking for 30 days of free occupancy. They're asking to stay in the house for maybe up to 60 days. This kind of thing it's leading us. We want to hurry up and close because the buyers want to get into the house. But on the other end, the sellers, just like as you mentioned, they might not have a great, easy time of finding that next house.
Well, if there's one thing I would love to be able to start to normalize it's my biggest frustration as a real estate agent. If I have a listing and we accept an offer, these buyers agents, they'll do whatever they can to get the offer accepted. They'll give you the 60 days of occupancy for free. Stop asking the listing agent 2 weeks after you've accepted the offer, hey, how long after the closing do you think they're going to need the occupancy for? Plan on the 60 days, guys. Whatever you write in the contract, that's what you need to go off of. If they're out any sooner, that's a pleasant surprise for you, and congratulations. But it's one of those things that, yes, we can offer, you can offer the occupancy. You can accept the occupancy. We need to plan on everyone using it. That's my big thing today.
Harry, you're going to say?
Yeah, I think Kyle's right. What's in the purchase agreement's in the purchase agreement. A lot of times right now, title companies can't get to all the closings that they're doing, okay? So if you write an offer on or before the 31st, okay, the target date is the 31st. Of course, we want to get them in before. If it's ready to get in before, that's fine. If it's ready to go and the sellers and the buyers can get in before, that's fine too. But it says on or before the 31st. 31st is drop date deadline. Now, last but not least, on the purchase agreement side, is that if it can't close on the 31st, what happens if it closes on the 1st or 2nd, Kyle?
Got to get an extension.
Got to give them, okay, fair enough. A couple days later, do you close? Hey, guys, you know what? Let's continue this talk about what's written in that purchase agreement and keeping everyone happy in the transaction. All right, when we come back, 48539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You'll save money on closing costs. You get a little education behind you. We really enjoy it. We're passionate. You're going to deal with experienced loan officers, not brand new people that just literally picked up their mortgage license. If you're looking, we're all nationally licensed here. I don't know. You don't like when I go there, Harry, but honest to God, I saw someone the other day quoting one of my clients. I think their license number was 2 million almost. It was 1,900,000. And I just got my mortgage license yesterday. And here they're giving wrong information to families out there. And again, I'm glad my clients were able to sort through all the mess out there, and we got them all signed up, and they're going to save a lot of money. Speaking of which, is refinances are at all-time highs. We are continuously working with so many clients, and we're seeing a lot of debt consolidation out there, which is really interesting. Some of the families over the last couple of years have done home improvements. They went ahead and got home equity loans. Those home equity loans are bumping up a little bit. They're flexible. They're interest only. Most families love, John Kolb, adding the two loans together, a first and a second mortgage together, and maybe even dropping 10 years off your mortgage term.
Yeah, we've had this conversation multiple times over the last couple of weeks where, clients are asking me whether it makes sense to take cash out of their home or if it makes sense to do a home equity line of credit. And the simple answer is this: how quickly are you going to pay that debt off? So if you think you're going to pay that debt off in 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you don't want to disrupt your current mortgage, then do it on an equity line. But if you're going to take out 50 grand and it's going to take you 15, 20 years to pay it back, then no, put it as part of your mortgage, start your term over again, shorten your term, and get yourself going. You're going to fix the rate, and that way you're going to be more secure. You don't want to mess around with an equity line that could adjust up and up and up and up every single month when you're not going to be paying that debt off in a short period of time.
John,
the reason why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, John, that's great advice. I'm going to tell people why. Because if people believe we're at the low point right now, and they take out a home equity loan, which everybody knows is a variable rate, where is the only place that interest rate could go up if everybody believes we're at the low right now? It can only go one way. So my advice to people, if you're taking out a lump sum or you want an equity line, if you want to take a lump sum out, then roll it into your mortgage, do a cash out refi, and get it around 3% or under if you're going to do a shorter term. But there's only one way rates can go right now. Again, they're not going down to zero.
Right. And just to jump back on that, Harry, the reason why I like an equity line, if you're going to pay that debt off quickly, is because it's a line of credit against your house. Where so if you pay it down to zero, you still have that equity available to you with a checkbook, a debit card, if you ever need it for an emergency. Don't use it to go out and get some groceries or, your local booze shop. Use it for emergencies only and for things that you need to do. And, make sure in that way, if you pay it down to zero, you can always use it again. Pay it down to zero, use it again. But only if you're going to pay it down quickly. Just like Harry said, fixing your rate long term if it's going to be a large lump sum.
Yeah, there's different times out there. Of course, right now it seems like every year that you own the house, you go to the mailbox and it says that the neighbor down the street sold for another $10,000 more. Kyle Lang, of course, ReMax Dream Properties. Kyle, the home values continuously are creeping up. The average medium home is selling for $350,000. That's the average. Pretty hard to find yourself a starter home under $200,000 now.
Yeah, it's getting tough. You're seeing a lot of those, like you said, the starter homes starting to creep up. A lot of times too, though, is because the people that are owning the house currently, they've put work into them. They've updated the kitchen, they've updated the bathroom. So that's add value to them. You're going to have to pay for that on the end when you're buying the house. So yeah, you're going to see them. They're continuing to rise. One thing I wanted to comment on actually is it's so important to work with an agent that knows the area that you want to be in. I was, I sold a house in Garden City, sold for $183,000 a couple weeks ago. And I saw a new house in Garden City hit the market earlier this week, and it was listed. I would say it was a little bit smaller than the house I had sold in Garden City, but it had an extra bathroom and it was just as nice. They were listed for $155,000, guys. I mean, like I got a gut-wrenching pain for those sellers. I was like, what are they doing? $28,000 less. But come on, guys. It's just, it's so important to work with somebody that knows your area and that hasn't known you since birth or is your cousin or whatever. It's so frustrating when I see stuff like that.
I actually wrote that down a little bit. There's nothing wrong about being new in any industry. You can work with a new mortgage person. You can work with a new real estate office, but they have to have their teams together. They have to have people that they can go to and really get the information. Kyle, homes, including your that home you're speaking of, that I know that one that you'd sold for 183,000, and we're using this as a good example today. And then you see the one down the street in the same community, and it's selling for 25 or 30,000 less. Shame on that agent for not finding out a little bit more information. I mean, Kyle, you're not even allowed to call them up and say, "Hey, heads up over there, don't give that house away. You're not going to do any service to those sellers."
Well, the first thing I did was I looked and said, "Hey, do I have a buyer that's looking in this area? Because my buyer's going to get a great deal."
Yeah.
Hey, Harvey, it's all about, you said the key word, it's about information. And it's, what do I say? It's the dissemination of accurate versus inaccurate information. I don't care if you're old in the business, whatever business you're in, or you're new. It's about accurate information. And then how do you interpret that? How do you disseminate what's accurate versus inaccurate? It's called doing your homework, okay? Just because somebody says something, me included, you included, do your homework on us, doesn't make it true, okay? There's a lot of false information out there. Do your homework, become educated, call people and talk to people you trust.
Yeah,
I like that.
Just to go off of that, Harry, a little bit, so many, and it's actually been kind of a breath of fresh air for me lately. I've had a few clients that have asked me, "Hey, can I see your website?" Hey, they're asking for these things because they want to know exactly who they're starting to work with. And I could totally respect it. I get it. You're entrusting us with one of the biggest financial transactions of your life. Do your homework. Know exactly who you're going to work with to make sure that, one, they're going to do a good job for you, but two, you're going to be a good fit for each other as well.
Such an interesting year. Unemployment rate fell to 6.7%. The numbers came in last week, but I'll tell you, a lot of the folks around here, they're feeling the crunch. Service jobs are really affected. Our family and friends that work at the arenas and the food and beverage industry, entertainment, no-shows. I got buddies that drive big buses for rock bands across the country. These guys haven't done anything. They've switched their jobs to driving around rock bands. Now they're driving around toilet paper to the Costco. So the things change on a dime, and you got to be prepared for it. Hey, we're going to take all your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show, 248-539-9797. Dive back into something else. Is Harry, the loan limits went up. And of course, every year, it's not guaranteed, but typically they'll take a look at this. And of course, the conforming loan limits went up to $548,250. Well, truly what it means for some of the families out there were, if you were thinking about doing a cash out refinance, well, there's a little bit of wiggle room now. It's very difficult to pull equity out on a jumbo loan. Well, that loan limit went up $38,200. So maybe it gives you an opportunity. If you do have one of these nicer homes out there, if someone recently told you were a jumbo loan, you might not be a jumbo loan anymore. And again, jumbo loan will be over $548,250. Also, the FHA loan limit increased. So there are some families out there that had bankruptcy, foreclosures in the past. An FHA loan has a little bit less criteria. And again, a great program out there, still allowing buyers to buy at 3.5% down. That FHA loan limit's all the way up to $356,362. I got my numbers straight here. That is not a starter home. Again, that's just over the median sales price. I bought my first house FHA, Kyle, and it's a great pathway. And again, at the time, I was 23, just in the mortgage industry. I knew the FHA loans, and I knew that I could get in and get a little bit of seller's concessions. I could get in for 3.5% down. And at the time, being 23, I did have lower credit score. So it was my entryway into home ownership, and it works for a lot of families out there. Again, there's FHA, there's USDA, there's VA loans. There's a lot of loans out there and a lot of programs out there. You won't hear about them if you're just calling up strangers or calling up the stranger who sends you that. So definitely reach out to us. Again, Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800 low rate. That's 1-800-569-7283 here locally. And we'll definitely keep a lot of money in your pocket. All right, we're up against a quick break here. This show's just flying by today. Keeping here on 97.1 The Ticket. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports from 10 to 2. And when we come back, we'll talk a lot more about buying and selling real estate. Keep it here.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
More days of 2020. Hope everything's well with your family. And if not, give us a call, Capital Mortgage. Maybe financially we can help you guys. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always check us out there live here in the studio at 248-539-9797. We'll be coming up. We're actually in our 21st year here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hopefully helped a lot of families out. It's a consumer advocate show. So if you've got a situation out there, a family or friend, they're thinking about home ownership, give us a call. If they want to sell their house, we can send you guys. There's no obligation at all. We can send you some of the top real estate agents from our area to come and take a look at your home. I know a lot of times we'll even get calls from the other side of town, and we had no problem. I know a whole bunch of our agents that have been on the air with us over the years, including Kyle. They'll jump in the car, and whether their farm area is on the west side, they'll drive to the east side, and there's nothing wrong with getting some professional opinions. Again, Harry, we always just say it's disseminating accurate information. It's all about gathering your information when you're buying a house. Hey, guys, we were talking about refinancing. And there's no doubt about refinancing might be an opportunity really to reset your escrow account. Kyle, a lot of buyers are closing on these homes, but the families have lived there forever. You know, you buy the old lady's house, the old man's house. He's lived there for 25 years. Hey, those property taxes are going to be reassessed. And a lot of clients are calling us up saying, Harvey, I'm getting these calls saying I'm short in my escrow from these other lenders. What can you do? And a lot of times a refinance will just help them get their finances all together again. So, Kyle, you've seen that with the property taxes. You mentioned actually one of the cities around here really went up about, I don't know, about $100 a month for many families.
Yeah. I do a lot of work in the West End Garden City, Livonia area, but I saw Wayne got hit pretty hard. I've even seen some people talk about online that their property taxes were increased by as much as $1,200 for the year. I mean, extra $100 a month on your monthly mortgage payment. That's nothing to shake a stick at. So yeah, it's definitely something to consider. I actually had a funny story. So this was 3 years ago. I was showing houses out in Ann Arbor, and my client was looking, 500,000 plus. And we go to show one house, and I was looking at the MLS sheet. I was like, this can't be right. Their property taxes are $5,300 for the year. And my client was super excited. He's like, why are these taxes so cheap? I can't believe this. The people had lived there for 60 years.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, these are going to uncap and they're going to increase, because what the state law is, it can only increase by, I think it's 15% each year, but they're going to get a couple 15% increases, I think, over the next few years. Whoever ended up buying that house.
Yeah, based on inflation typically. So once you're reassessed, then your property taxes can only go up based on an inflation rate, which is usually somewhere between 2 and 3 or 4% in that ballpark. So usually, right, it won't be sticker shock once you're reassessed, but you can always call the city ahead of time if you're looking at any homes. That's one of the things we urge families to do. Again, keep gathering knowledge, build your knowledge bank up. That'll give you the confidence to move forward. John Kolb, you're going to jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say, I love this topic, right? That the escrow accounts are going to uncap, but first and foremost, we are not advocating to refinance just to reset your escrow account. That does not make sense, right? So it may make sense to also help fix your escrow account at the time, but don't get somebody on the phone that's just saying, oh, your escrow account's short, let's just refinance you and do it, because that is not always the best thing to do. So I just wanted to make sure that public service announcement there. But yeah, I mean, going through Kyle, the reason I love working with Kyle is he's one of those guys who he's right to the point. He tells the truth. And just like we were saying earlier, he doesn't know Bell Harbor. He's not going to try to sell somebody a house in Bell Harbor, down in the lower southwest corner of Michigan. He knows his area. He sticks to his area, and he sells a lot in his area. So, talk to an agent who's going to be very truthful about that. And when it comes to escrow accounts, make sure you're getting with a loan officer who understands how escrow accounts work and how these property taxes can change. It doesn't matter if somebody's owned that house for a year, 2, 60, it's going to uncap every single time, and taxes are going to change. Kyle and I just had a scenario where we had a client who was buying a house so quickly after a home had been flipped that the taxes haven't even assessed from when the guy bought it. And we caught it right at the beginning of the transaction, thankfully, and made sure that everybody knew, hey, these taxes are not going to be $180 a month. They're going to be $310 a month, because they haven't even flipped from when the guy bought it in late 2019 to flip it to sell to our new client. So these are the kind of things that you have to look for, the intricacies that a good loan officer, a good realtor working as a team together to get the job done the right way. And if you don't have that, you're screwed.
John, I like how you brought that up. Yeah, definitely a little public service, right? You're not just refinancing to reset your escrow account. It's sort of a bonus if that happens, but you're also doing it to remove the mortgage insurance. You're refinancing to drop the term on your house, to consolidate debt. Also, if it just happens to be a situation where you didn't have escrows and you're a little short, you might want to consider, going ahead and rolling in your tax and setting up an escrow account for the future. So lots of different reasons why a refinance can really benefit your family. And for any family out there, again, we've got the holiday season here. Watch your spending. If you haven't yet refinanced and you're thinking about probably taking a look at it at the beginning of 2021, we want you to call Capital Mortgage Funding, but we want you to watch your spending now too, because you want to keep those credit card balances relatively low and keep that credit score high. Things that you can do to keep your credit score high. Of course, Lisa Lawson, one of our fine loan officers, always talks about the amount of usage on your credit card. So again, if you have a $5,000 credit limit, you want to keep those balances down. If it just so happens that the time you start your refinance, you're maxed out on all your credit cards, okay, it might negatively affect your credit score, But remember that refinance will help you get back on the right path. So again, lots to know out there. Watch out for your credit during the holiday season. And a couple other things. Hey, Kyle, these condominiums have been taking just a little bit longer. And I sort of wanted to shoot it out there to any of the real estate agents out there. I know I've heard a couple agents where I was talking to this week. They told me I had a file that the association was just taking a little bit of extra time. Again, they're busy too. They're working at home. We're all in this together. And, I sort of stepped back on it and allowed them to get their work done. Maybe I made one heated call to them. But again, these condominiums, they have to fill out condo questionnaires. They've got their own restrictions. They've got their own guidelines, their bylaws and master to follow. So a little heads up out there. Condominiums, still a great way to buy a house or a condo.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing with that is too, I think it's really important for people to remember, if the association is not managed by a property management company, it's just going to be a resident of the association that's managing that stuff. And they've got day jobs, they're volunteers. They're not getting paid for this. So you're going to have some patience. You're going to have a few different people reaching out. I know, we work with a great title company that, they do a really good job touching base with those association presidents and saying, hey, I need these forms. And then they'll call us as agents or you guys as loan officers, I'm sure, to say, hey, we're not getting this rider back and we need this in order to submit. So just one of those things that just to keep in mind when you're during the process. I always tell my clients, I'll let you know when it's time to freak out. In most cases, we've done this before. We're professionals. We know what to expect and we know what curveballs are going to be thrown.
Very glad.
Hey, Harvey, let's take the macro view on this, not only with condominiums, but any subdivision association or anything that you have to get externally. Macro view, everything is taking longer. Why are things taking longer? Because there are more homes selling, all types of properties, condos, site condos, attached condos, single family residences, rural properties, urban properties, everything is selling. So who's backed up? You ready? Let's talk about who's backed up. The appraisal companies are backed up. The title companies are backed up. The HOAs are backed up. That's homeowners associations. Insurance companies are backed up. Everybody in the transaction is backed up. So take the macro view, get us the documents. We'll take care of the mortgage and everything else. And then we'll, it's hurry up and wait basically. Right, John Kolb?
Yeah, I was going to say this is like Black Friday shopping in the mortgage business for the last 9 months. You're going to wait. You're going to wait in line to get into that store. And, we're so busy because rates are so good, but we're here to help people. It's not like we are, going to take 60 or 90 days to get your transaction done. Normally we could have knocked something out in 20 days. Now it may take you 35. It's not the end of the world. So, make sure that and I love how Harry said the macro view, but, to hammer on the point of those, on that macro view and being prepared, us as loan officers, real estate agents, if there's something that your property requires from a lender that's going to take some time and has to be evaluated, have that on the front end. That condo association's information, the condo questionnaire, why not have it filled out before you even list the property? So you can hand it out. That kind of stuff with, just like if you're going to sell a house, we've talked about this time and time again, and Kyle is a huge advocate of this. If you're going to sell in a house and you think you might have some issues, why not get the sewer inspected up front? Why not have your home inspection done up front, radon tests up front? That way you can say, hey guys, this is what we're doing to try to sell it. We're prepping it to sell. We're making this pony look pretty.
Kyle, you got 30 seconds.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on the show. Just, make sure you work with somebody who knows exactly what they're doing when you're getting into the home buying or selling process. Have a great holiday season, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the new year.
I like that.
Call Kyle Lang. Call Kyle Lang.
There you go. Definitely. Hey, the basics never change. Success in real estate comes from building strong relations. Deal with great people that are honest and can call you and communicate with you all the way through. All right, guys. Like I said, the fastest show in mortgages and real estate right here on 97.1 The Ticket. That does it for us, but we'll see you next Saturday. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Be sure to call us at Capital 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We'll see you next Saturday.